welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name is Darian, also known as Mrs. G here on YouTube, and we are in May, which is absolutely insane. Being safe at home, we've been locked away for quite some time, and it just feels like it was literally March yesterday. And now it's May, which I'm very happy about because the sunshine has arrived. Since we are into May, I am doing a series here on my channel called Motherhood May, and we are going to be talking about a different topic of motherhood that I have personally experienced and kind of my opinions and thoughts on a couple different subjects that go along with motherhood. So if that sounds like something you are interested in, please hit the like button, consider subscribing if you want to stick around. If you don't know, I have a baby boy named Micah. He is 13 months old, and last week I shared with you my whole birth story of leading up to the day and actually having him. It was very unexpected, not planned, not ideal, but it was absolutely beautiful and I would do it again. So please check out that video. I will have it in the cards above. Before we get started, I do want to throw in here that this video is TMI. That is motherhood for you, and if that is something that you're not interested in, I will be posting other videos here on this channel after May. We're gonna be talking about a couple things that you mamas will understand, or you people preparing to become mamas will want to know, but probably not for everybody. So I'm excited to share 10 things that I wish I knew about pregnancy. Number 1, your first ultrasound, sonogram, is not what you are expecting. The movies get it totally wrong and they get you psyched for going in your first time, you're laying on the table, they put the gel on your belly and look, and oh my gosh, you see a baby and it's just so exciting. Yes, a sonogram in your first sonogram is insanely exciting because you get to hear the heartbeat for the first time and see your tiny little peanut. Yes, a tiny little peanut. Definitely does not look like a baby yet, but also they invade your personal space to do your first sonogram. That is something I did not know until literally my doctor's appointment right before my sonogram. I did not know that they'd be invading my personal space, and they do with a very long camera that they gel up, and it is quite uncomfortable and awkward. Number 2, it is always awkward having somebody invade your personal private spaces. I was told prior to pregnancy and everything that I was reading that once you become pregnant and have a kid, you could just like hang your boob out, not really care, and it's not that big of a deal. Like, you are totally fine with people being all up in your business. Now, a little bit of that is true. When I was at the hospital after I had Micah, nursing was totally fine. I could care less if a nurse saw me. It was no big deal. But every time I had to be checked by the doctor, or when I first went into my appointment and I had to get checked, and they also wanted to examine my ladies to see if there was any like obvious deformities or anything like that that could be a complication while nursing. It was super awkward for me. I've never had anybody touch me besides my husband, and I was like getting all up in business, and I am a little bit on the prudish side when it comes to that stuff, and it was really, really uncomfortable. But again, I was getting told like, oh, it's gonna be a breeze. Once it happens a couple times, you're gonna be fine. I still felt awkward. Every time somebody had to go touch my lady bits, I was definitely awkward about it. Like, I was never like, the door's open, come on in. Like, I was not, no. Definitely become less prudish, but not too much of an open book. Number 3, you might not get to exercise like you want to. Prior to getting pregnant, I read that if you were a serious runner or lifting X amount of weights and doing these activities all the time prior to pregnancy, that you could really carry those into pregnancy. And as long as you are discussing with your healthcare provider and making sure that you are not doing anything dangerous, then it was totally fine. You could continue. So I was really looking forward to being able to do yoga and some Pilates and continuing working out like I did prior. However, that was not the case for me. And I know it's not the case for everybody, whereas some people can work out all the way up until they deliver and they're perfectly fine, doesn't have an issue at all. For me, very early on, I felt like pressure and in my abdomen and organs, even though the baby wasn't giant yet, and even when he did, it was a lot of pressure, but I felt pressure and just like certain movements was not comfortable at all and even provided a little bit of pain. And so I was able to do some things, but I was not able to do like that perfect workout to stay in shape while pregnant that I would have liked to do. And it's just different for everybody. You have to remember your body is changing in so many different ways. Things are being pushed around, moved around to make room for your growing uterus and growing baby. And things hurt when they're moved around and trying to get comfortable, and you have hormones raging through your body, and literally everything is changing. And so sometimes working out like you did before, it's not possible for everyone. But number 4, all bets are off when it comes to what you're eating. I was an extremely healthy eater. I am again now, but I ate very healthy. You would not see me pick up a donut unless it was like a special occasion, or I was not an eatable cereal kind of gal, and I ate very healthy. Then I got pregnant, and for some reason, I don't know what it was, but I reverted back to only wanting to eat things that I ate as a child, which is crazy because there were things that I did not touch for 10 plus years that all of a sudden that's what I needed to eat. It made no sense to me. I knew that cravings were a thing where you might be like, ooh, I really need to eat some Cheez-Its right now and just mow down on that. Or, you know, husband going off in the middle of the night and giving you ice cream. Those things I have heard about, read about, watched on movies, and I anticipated those to happen. But I did not anticipate that literally for an entire week, all I was gonna eat was biscuits and gravy. I was eating all the old foods that I used to as a kid. And foods that I ate all the time, all of a sudden sounded terrible. I ate jelly sandwiches, but I did not eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because all of a sudden peanut butter was the vein of my existence. And I did not eat like fajitas. I would eat fajitas probably like once or twice a week. Could not eat fajitas anymore. It was not gonna happen. So I legitimately had to sit down with my doctor and be like, I am trying to be healthy, and I was also supposed to be eating a very small amount of carbs for some health issues. So I was like, I am doing what you're saying, but I'm either doing what you're saying and not eating because the only things I want to eat are carbs. What do I do? And she was like, I mean, you gotta eat, so give in, basically. And I did, and definitely put on the weight because of that. Number 5, people are going to ask you inappropriate questions. I did not anticipate this one at all, and I was completely thrown off the first few times it happened. But you're always told like people are gonna want to touch your belly, and sometimes they'll touch your belly without even asking. So I was already prepared for that, but I was not prepared for the questions that people were gonna ask me. And they can be really invasive and also really hurtful. So for example, my sister and I got pregnant, and we were pregnant together. And my husband and I were trying for several months, and then my sister got pregnant. We were super stoked for her. But living in such a small town, everybody saw my sister being pregnant, and the questions just raged on. Hey, are you trying? Are you and your husband trying? You know, your sister is pregnant. How come you're not pregnant? And I got comments like that all the time, and it threw me off. And being from a small town, I know all these people like really well, and they've known me my whole life. So it wasn't like a stranger that I could tell to go away. They are people that I'm gonna see again and who really know me. So I just more of like shrugged it off and didn't say anything, which is one of my biggest regrets, by the way. I wish I would have told them to shove it, not gonna lie. When I did get pregnant, I got comments like, oh, your sister was pregnant, so you had to get pregnant? Is that what's happening? And so I'm like, are people not understanding what you're asking when I am, like, if you're asking me if I'm trying to conceive, you are asking me if my husband and I enjoy our time together. Like, you're asking me if we are doing that. And that is insanely personal. Why would I share that with you on the street or in the grocery store or anywhere? And it was just flat out rude and not okay at all. But another thing that I was also commented on was I was literally in the grocery store and somebody was like, congratulations, and they're talking to me, and then they go, so have you gained any weight? I don't know why that question seems okay to people to comment on somebody's weight. You don't know how that person's gonna feel about it. Was not at the place where I was super comfortable. I just grew out of 3 sizes of clothes, but I'm trying to like, okay, I can't fit in all my stuff anymore. Trying to take that all in. It's super emotional. I'm raging with hormones. And then somebody comes up to me and talks to me about my weight. What else is gonna make me feel more like a whale than that? Number 6, the anxiety increases as you go along. I was trying to get pregnant. We were trying, and I was very anxious about it because you don't know if you can get pregnant unless you try. And so it did take us a couple of months, not many, but a couple. And it scared me. Like, I was nervous. I really, really, really wanted a baby. And I remember telling myself, like, if I could just get pregnant, if I can just get pregnant, I will be calmer. So then I got pregnant. And then the anxiety was, I need to make it to the 2nd trimester so that your miscarriage rate drops tremendously. And so I was like, if I can just make it to the 2nd trimester, if I can just make it to the 2nd trimester, made it to that. And then it was, okay, I'm in the 2nd trimester. If I can just make it until my 20-week ultrasound, then I can see the baby again. If I can just make it there. And then I made it. And then I'm like, okay, now we're halfway done. Okay, so if I can just make it to this. And the anxiety just kept building and building and getting bigger for different reasons. And that's something I was not prepared for. So definitely speak to your husband. Make sure you have somebody, your significant other, your mom, your physician, your midwife. Talk to somebody about it. Like, my anxiety is raising here. They can help you, whether you're a stat person and need to hear like the stats on when miscarriage decreases, or the chances of this happening. Like, maybe you're that person, or maybe you just need to hear someone's story. Whatever it is, talk to someone about it, because I did not share all of my fears, and I really wish that I would have. I feel like it would have calmed me down a lot more. Number 7. This one is different for everybody, but you might not hit or feel the normal things that people feel in pregnancy. For example, in the 2nd trimester, it's kind of common that you feel erotically charged. That is not something that I felt in the 2nd trimester, and pretty much throughout my entire pregnancy. I was at the don't touch me portion. It was like my body knew I was pregnant and knew I was growing a human, and it was like, okay, don't need that at the moment. Thanks, we'll talk to you later. We both knew that it was pretty common for people in their 2nd trimester, and sometimes even into the early 3rd trimester, where you're like ready to do that. So I was not, and it made me kind of scared. Like, is there something wrong with me? I am not feeling what that person's feeling. Or what's common and normal. And it was a little scary. And I also did not talk to my doctor about it, which I probably just should have, to ease my conscience a little bit, that anxiety thing. But that is something that I definitely want to put out there, is you're not going to experience everything that a book says or everything that your mom says how it goes. Pregnancy is different for each and every person. Everybody has a different experience. It's okay. It's going to be different for you than it is for somebody else. And if it does concern you, if you are worried, again, talk to your healthcare provider and just get their take on it. They will tell you if there's a cause for an issue or whatnot, but most of the time it's going to be there's no issue. That's just how you're feeling, and that is completely all right. Number 8, pregnancy brain is real. You walk into a room and you don't know why you walked in there. I was told that this would happen, but I did not see the extent that it would be. Literally, I felt like I was losing my marbles. I had no idea what I was doing. I could hold a conversation with you and then walk away and I have no idea what we just talked about. Your brain turns to complete mush. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's preparing you for talking baby talk for the next year and not talking to real adults. I'm not gonna lie. There's still times now where my brain is literally like I was when I was pregnant. Now I can have a conversation and as I'm speaking, I forget what I'm talking about halfway through my sentence. It makes absolutely no sense. Number 9, you will not always love your body. I, at certain times in my pregnancy, was in love with my body. I was like loving my bump. It was beautiful and you can dress up a little bit with it. And I was in love with my body. And there were certain times where I just felt like absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. And then there were other times where I grew out of all of my clothes, like I was mentioning earlier. And anytime you're growing out of your clothes, you feel like you're gaining weight, because you are. Even if you're gaining weight because you have a baby, you're still gaining weight and it doesn't always feel that great. And it can hit your self-esteem and you just feel, there are certain times where I just felt absolutely horrible. I broke down one day and I was like, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm not attracted to me. I highly doubt you are even attracted to me. And he was like, honey, I am attracted to you in a different way. Like, I cannot even explain it. I am so attracted to you and you are beautiful in a totally different light than before. Like, you are pregnant with our child. You are growing a human and that is amazing. And he'd always just remind me, honey, you're not fat, you're pregnant. And I'm like, I know that I'm pregnant, obviously, but fat goes along with it. And it was okay for me to have the feelings of not feeling pretty. It was okay. I bought a couple things that made me feel pretty and moved on, or I did my makeup. And you do whatever you need to do to feel beautiful. You're growing this child for 9 months and then you're gonna push it out and then you're not gonna sleep for the next 18 years. Sorry. You have the right to your feelings, and pregnancy throws your feelings all over the place. So just fill yourself with love and support from those people around you and you will get through it. I know that you will. Number 10, the 4th trimester is the thing. I heard about this and I only heard about it when I started reading about pregnancy and preparing yourself and all of that. It was not something that was ever talked about on movies. I never even heard it in conversation from older women around me when they had children. 4th trimester was not something that was common to my ears. The 4th trimester is what you call your postpartum time after having your baby, but your body changes. And the 4th trimester is kind of talking about all of that and you healing and your postpartum journey. It is a thing. I feel like people expect you to get back to normal very soon. You do feel some sort of pressure or expectation that you need to get back to normal, or hey, it's already been 2 weeks, it's already been 6 weeks, come on now, it's already been a couple months, you should be fine. And that's not the case. It takes different amount of time for different women to feel like you're back to yourself. You've just grown a baby, had a baby, now you're covered in vomit all the time and taking care of a baby, and you need to kind of rediscover yourself a little bit. But that's not something people understand. They'll still see somebody a year after having a kid and they're like, I've heard it before, where they're like, oh, she still has the baby weight. Yeah, she does, because you don't know what that woman is going through in the first year of having her kid. I can guarantee you working out's not the first thought. It was not for me. It still isn't for me. I don't work out, period. Nah, it takes time for your body to heal. It takes time for your mind to heal. It takes time for you to grow, find out who you are, get settled as a family, and that is okay. That is all right. Take as much time as you need, block out the rest of the people. You have the people around you that are your family, friends, support, and love group, and that is all you need. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please hit that thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing to stick around our journey. Throughout this month of May, I will be sharing a different topic of motherhood with you every single week, so please stick around. Leave down in the comments one thing that you wish you would have known prior to getting pregnant. I would love to see if you had similar experiences to mine, and I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye.